This is indeed a momentous day for many, and I would like to take just a moment to thank this year's graduating class. I think I've gotten to know many of them and know many of them well. And as many of you know, this is my first official year as president, and I appreciate all you have done to welcome me and welcome my family here to this wonderful community. But I also appreciate you, all of you, and the leadership you've shown during this year. You've helped guide and direct this institution into some new and exciting ways. So today I say thank you, and especially this graduating class, you'll be missed.
Today, Hastings College is proud to host its annual Golden Graduation Ceremony. We are pleased to recognize and to present 50-year certificates to members of the class of 1968. I'm going to ask that President Fiesel and Dr. Remp present their golden certificates. It is truly fitting that we honor these men and women who departed our college 50 years ago. In a very real sense, this is a re-graduation. It's also a rededication to the liberal arts education they received during their years as students at Hastings College. Hastings College is proud of all of our alumni, and we are thankful that you are here to celebrate with us today. At this time, would all Hastings College alumni please stand as you are able so that we may recognize you. Welcome home. Now, would members of the class of 1968 please come forward to receive your golden graduation certificate? Susan Arnold. Bill Baskin. Donald Close. Judy Frere-King Crick. John DeBoer. Terry Finks. Cindy Haberman Freeling. Ellen Cook Hammond. Donna Edgerton Harris. Berniel Smith Hoff. Kurt Hutchison. Gerald F. King. Nancy Hessman Kruger. Garland Lombard. Kathy Ryman Magnuson. Ted Mankey. Nancy Ferguson Pickett. Ed Randolph. Pat Randolph. Judy Kuhn Reagan. Mary Curtis Shadwinkle. Karen Ruzika Shano. Kent Schaefer. Linda Walleb Schaefer. James Sharp. Cindy Jennings Smith. John Starkle. Betty Ann Kuhn Tout. F. David Troop. Carol Ketter Thurber. Diane Offer Van Dyke. Suzanne Velt. Judy Lauder Vidal. Bob Williams. Donna Whistle Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for the class of 1968.
Before I introduce our commencement speakers, I want to welcome the many distinguished members of our community who we need to recognize and we need to give our thanks to. Let me first introduce members of our college's Board of Trustees and honorary trustees who are in attendance today. So as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all trustees have been recognized, and then we'll give them a round of applause. Our Chair of the Board of Trustees, Glenn Moss. Greg Allen Pickett. Roger Dorr. Paul Krieger. Richard Lotzenheiser. Marcy Luth. Ann Martin. And Jessica Mieske. Please give them a round of applause. To them, always thank you for your care and leadership of this college and your presence with us this morning. Now, if I could ask that all current and emeriti faculty members stand and be recognized. Thank you for the past, the present, and continuing legacy of engagement and all that you give to our students. Finally, I'd like all of our administrators and staff to also please stand and be recognized. It has been with great humility that I've gotten to know these people and the way in which they have served this graduating class for the past 4 years. And I am deeply grateful for all your service and faithfulness to this college. Thank you for your gifts of service. So it's a new tradition, a new year, and in preparation for commencement earlier this year, I began to reflect on my own attendance at various commencement ceremonies over the last 26 years. And I really tried to reach back and think about who the keynote speaker was. And as I thought and as I pondered, I realized I couldn't remember any of them. I couldn't remember who they were. I couldn't remember what they said. I couldn't remember sort of the moment of that time. But I do remember something very distinctly, a piece that I had come upon at a couple other places. And it was the message from students and recent graduates. So after visiting with several students about who we might invite back to campus, we discussed bringing back a Hastings College graduate who perhaps may be more directly connected to this year's class. So today we welcome back a 2015 graduate of Hastings College, Alex Isley. Alex graduated with a degree in computer science and served as the Student Association president during the 2014 and 15 academic year. Today, Alex is a software engineer for Goldman Sachs in New York City, and I'm excited for him to share with you about how this Hastings College experience impacted him and perhaps will impact you as you depart from campus. But additionally, this year we also start a new tradition based on a campus-wide nomination process and vote of the senior class, we will welcome, Beth Simmons as the first of what I hope to become a long-standing tradition of a senior speaker at our commencement ceremonies. Beth grew up in Plattsmouth, Nebraska, and will graduate with a degree in economics and mathematics. She rollerblades around campus. That's not even in the script as she comes forward. I have absolutely been privileged to have many conversations with Beth this year, maybe nudged her towards what she's doing next year, but I have no doubt that she will be a wonderful speaker and a wonderful representation of this class and of this college. Please help me welcome both Alex and Beth as your speakers.
Thank you, President Fazell, as well as the Alumni Association for this opportunity. It's truly an honor to speak to the graduating class of 2018 on this joyous occasion. Having to think about my Hastings College experience brought me back a few years. I distinctly remember a night, the weekend before commencement in 2015. It was a night where my roommates and I were all at our house, the self-proclaimed den. And we were not really up for the typical round trip to the Slammer or Reno. Instead, we thought it would be a good idea to climb all the buildings on campus. And it represented a final tour for us on the campus, a conquering maybe. Perhaps to look over the vast landscape we had called home for 4 years. As we stood atop the rooftop of HSU that night, we were all eager to graduate, but I couldn't help feel a sense of apprehension. An uncertainty. It didn't stem from job prospects. I already knew what I would be doing, and I had a job lined up. In retrospect, I was actually worried about whether I would be any good at what I was doing. I was juggling this idea of success. Now, this year's commencement speaker lineup is certainly different from those of past years, and at the ripe old age of 25 and 3 years out of undergrad, I hardly feel qualified to be the one delivering any words of wisdom to you. But what I do bring, then, is a very recent memory of how it feels to be sitting in the seat you all are in today. And despite the fact that there are only these 3 short years separating us, I do know that the things that I know, you may not. And the things I've come to realize in the last 3 years that I wish I'd known have proliferated in many ways in my life. So that's how I want to spend our brief time here together, examining both the excitement and the fear of the next step and how you might achieve success. For me, this all starts with communication. My time in the workforce revealed so many things about what I thought I needed to know and what I actually needed to know in order to do well, most important of which was communication. Interpersonal communication, that is. Something as simple as talking to another human being should be relatively easy, but you would not believe how often lapses in communication occur on the job. Communication of your feelings, your goals, what you're getting for lunch that day. More often than not, communication creates obstacles between us. For instance, I was working on a project at Goldman. It involved trading software, depended on a team of traders to validate whether a test trade had been booked correctly. During the process, there was no real system of feedback or defined goals for collaboration between disparate teams. As we worked, we reached out to try and bring some ideas together, and naturally we were met with a lackluster response. People didn't seem to have the time, or worse, actively decided taking the time to communicate wasn't actually worth the effort. I'll tell you though, when the time came to actually use our system, you can bet my team had heard about it when our trade was not booked incorrectly. Communication is not the sole piece of the puzzle here, though. Our journey towards success is often derailed simply because we don't have the confidence in the work we do. There are times when you all will feel ill-equipped for the challenges in front of you, even after the thorough education that you've received here. But that's okay. I remember on my very first assignment in New York, I was told to write a piece of software using a technology that I'd never used before. But that looming gap in knowledge was threatening to derail our entire timeline. And I had that feeling you will all come to dread as a new employee. I felt incapable. But I learned quickly that it was actually an opportunity to learn a new skill set. And no, we did not finish that project on time. But I did earn a skill set that has continued to prove valuable. There were many times when I felt like I was not a capable software engineer or a leader, both on the job and in my time here at Hastings College, especially when I looked at what my peers were doing. But if you stick with it and approach what you're doing with an active desire to learn, you will reach a point where your abilities become second nature. And that idea of learning how to learn That is one of the most powerful tools that the HC experience provides. For me, that was my first foray into what success really meant. So when Hastings College reached out to me this year to ask me to speak, I have to hope it was at least in some part because they think of me as someone who, fits the typical mold of a successful alum, someone who got a job right away and moved to the big city, and maybe someone who can donate to the 1882 fund someday. All of these were very flattering outcomes, but it got me thinking, what committee or criteria was formed to bring us speakers in? Look up success in the dictionary. It certainly doesn't say, see Alex Isley. Because outcomes are arbitrary. My success began when I stopped doubting my abilities and started seeing the process as a measure of success, not defining it by outcomes. The outcomes do represent success, so as you move forward, don't let them be your driving force. You will meet and hear about Hastings College alumni today who are teaching public school kids, advising education policy in Turkey, marketing for tech startups, graduating from Columbia with master's degrees in conflict resolution, working at PBS, pursuing law degrees, or dropping everything they have and pursuing an ambition to play basketball in Germany. Each of these a different outcome, but all of these people have met this new definition of success in their own right. All of you, as new graduates, I'm sure are feeling this huge career pressure. But you've spent these last 4 long years figuring out who you really are, what's important to you, and what hard work really feels like. That is a significant achievement. So take the time today to celebrate. I don't want it to be understood that you shouldn't celebrate these outcomes. Absolutely you should. Party hard. But once you leave here, recognize this achievement as part of a successful process, and I encourage you to examine what this process moving forward will look like to you. Thank you.
Is everybody ready for this? Good morning, friends, family, and fellow graduates. I would like to start off by thanking the senior class for the opportunity to speak at commencement. I would like to thank my advisor, Dr. Schneider, for making sure this day came because there were absolutely times where I felt like throwing in the towel. This week has been one of those times. But I would most certainly like to thank Travis Fiesel as well. For in our short time that we have shared the campus together, he has put his full support behind me and believed in my ability to pull this thing off. So on that note, if you didn't think I was going to roast you in front of your grandparents, you were sorely mistaken. I'm just kidding. But I do have something similar that I feel like is more fitting for this occasion. I have comprised a sister poem of sorts to the Mr. and Miss Bronco poem I gave back in March. And I would like you to brace yourselves for Dear Hastings College Part 2. Dear Hastings College, where do I start? Never has a place been so dear to my heart. The mentors I've had and the friends I have made, the ones who have left and the ones who have stayed. We have made our success a reality, but Hastings was so much more than just a degree. It was a place to learn and a place to grow. It was the first of the many places we'll go. Hastings is singing the alma mater and knowing what it means. It's the beginning of a lifetime of achieving your dreams. It is realizing that home's a feeling, not just a place you live. It's learning to love, share, fight, and forgive. We learn to see power in ourselves and our peers, and that it takes more than book smarts to have successful careers. A place where free movie nights reduced our aggression, and after every Saturday, there was a Sunday session. Starting out, it seemed like we had forever. I mean, we set out on a 4-year endeavor. But those 4 years flew by without reason or warning as we sit in our caps on a Saturday morning. The class of 2014 has come a long way. from the little freshmen we were back in the day. We have killed it in both art and music recitals and played integral parts in winning national titles. We watched Bronco Bash on a Saturday come to fruition and made an a cappella group receiving accolades and recognition. We have learned to get along even when we disagree and how to close the gap between who we are and want to be. We have brought hypnotists, comedians, and piano men to town and played sand volleyball until the sun went down. We flew down paint slip-and slides and stole a boar's head and experienced several nights when we never went to bed. We are the last class of graduates who can poke and prod at an unrevised email about Steinhardt sod. We have sent students to conferences nationwide, and though at odds, we have always tried. Procrastination is an art we have come to know. To be honest, I wrote this speech 8 hours ago. We've binge-watched New Girl, The Office, and Friends, and spent all day Monday wishing it were still the weekend. But if you had class Monday morning, you'd better go, because your professors will text you if you don't show. But if they didn't have your back, who's to say that you'd be walking across this stage today? As underclassmen, we were so young and naive. Hastings College was a place where we learned and then would leave. But as we grew up, we realized there's so much more than going to class and then back to your dorm. Our little community has played a significant role in the reason why our hearts are so full. From Odyssey to Pacha, Art Bar to Eileen's, these places are thriving in their small town dreams. They show us there's nothing we cannot achieve and teach us to set goals, work hard, and believe. Whether you want to be a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, you can come back to Hastings and find success here. Hastings is so much more than a college, more than a place where you read books and gain knowledge. Hastings is a place where we came to discover and grow. It's a place where each one of you became someone I'm proud to know. So here's to the friends I've made through the years. I have always believed that we would make it here. It feels like for us forever, but also feels like a day since the first time we sent our parents away. The respect and love for my parents should go without question. They sent away a high school grad and got back a roasting legend. But though that may be my Hastings legacy, this school has left a much larger impression on me. 4 years ago, we made a choice to pick a school where we had a voice, a place that tested the strength of our brains, and during finals week brought in Raising Cane's. So though I don't have some great wisdom to instill, what I do know is the juniors have some big shoes to fill. At Hastings, my friends became family and professors became friends, and it is unfortunate to see it come to an end. Just remember, this degree is only the beginning of a life full of learning, growing, and living. Be confident, don't judge, keep it short and sweet. Look both ways before crossing the street. As we leave and move on to bigger and better things, nobody knows what the future will bring. But no matter what the next chapter entails, I hope to God there are less emails. In closing, I would like to thank those who have touched my life. Hastings College has taught me so much more than calculus and supply and demand. It has shaped me into the person I am today, and I cannot imagine where my life would be if I had made a different choice 4 years ago, but I'm so glad that I did not. Thank you to my roommates over the years and my boys over in 9/11 for putting up with all this crazy. Thank you to Odyssey for teaching me lessons that I could never learn in a classroom and creating a family that feels impossible to leave. And thank you to my fellow graduates. I wish you success in whatever you choose to pursue. But whatever it is that you do, remember to remain true to yourself and be selfless. Oh, and if you have to write a big speech for like a job or maybe like a presentation or something, maybe do it like 24 hours in advance. All right, thank you.
Thank you both, Alex and Beth, for sharing your thoughts with us. It's truly a pleasure to welcome you to the stage today. How about one more round of applause for our graduates? President Fiesel, It is with a great deal of pride that I present to you the graduating class of 2018. Within the hour, 284 students will be the recipients of bachelor's degrees, and 12 students will be the recipients of master's degrees. As the provost, I must say that I am very impressed by the members of the class of 2018. Graduation honors are awarded annually at commencement to those students with outstanding academic records in their undergraduate work, who have been in residence at Hastings College for at least 2 years and who have a minimum of 100 hours of credit on the A to F grading scale. Degrees with distinction are awarded as follows: summa cum laude, overall grade point average of 3.97 or higher; magna cum laude, overall grade point average of 3.94 or higher; cum laude, overall grade point average of 3.85 or higher. It is customary to recognize individually those students who are graduating summa cum laude. This year, 12 students are receiving this honor. As I read your name in alphabetical order, would you and members of your family, as you are able, please stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Emma Aturi, Allison Brown, Anthony Cloyd, Mallory Grubin, Holly Hild, Jamie Isaacson, Jessica Johnson, Andrea Levine, Caitlin Plocky, Anna Prince, Devin Wetland, Brian Whetstone. Please join me in congratulating all of our honor graduates. Mr. President, will you please come to the podium? And will the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Master of Arts in Teaching please rise? That's all of you. Mr. President, these candidates for the degree have completed the program of study and other requirements prescribed by the faculty. I therefore present them to you for conferral of the degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Hastings College and confirmed by a vote of affirmation from the trustees, I do hereby confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, or Master of Arts in Teaching with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Okay, you may be seated. Bachelor of Arts candidates, please rise by rows and proceed to the platform to receive your diplomas. And I would ask the audience to hold your applause until we have completed the different sections. Emma Aturi, High Distinction, Sociology and Theater. Allison Brown, High Distinction, Business Administration. Anthony Cloyd, High Distinction, Biology. Mallory Grubin, High Distinction, Journalism. Holly Hild, High Distinction, Chemistry. Jamie Isaacson, High Distinction, Biology Education and Chemistry Education. Jessica Johnson, High Distinction, Physics. Andrea Levine, High Distinction, Biology. Caitlin Plocky, High Distinction, Human Resource Management. Anna Prince, High Distinction, Marketing. Devin Wetland, High Distinction, Marketing and Web Communication Design. Brian Whetstone, High Distinction, History. These are our summa cum laude graduates. Please give them a round of applause. We will now proceed with our magna cum laude graduates. Emily Arrigo, High Distinction Accounting. Alexandria Balitz, High Distinction English. Jake Fowler, High Distinction Biology. Caitlin Grothin, High Distinction Psychology. Marcus Miller, High Distinction Business Administration and Economics. Ryan Pavelka, Distinction Biology. Aaron Petrie, High Distinction Music Education. Michelle Ross, Distinction Wildlife Biology. Kaylin Songson, High Distinction Health Systems and Religion. Audra Zavadny, High Distinction Political Science. The following students are graduating cum laude. Mohammed Boyed, Distinction Business Administration and Economics. Trenton Boyer, High Distinction Economics. Suzette Escamilla Morales, High Distinction Political Science and Economics. Kaylin Graybill, in absentia, High Distinction Elementary Education. Alexa Hernandez, High Distinction Business Administration. Jacob Conan, High Distinction Marketing. Kelly Cruz, High Distinction Broadcasting. Ashley Mars, High Distinction Accounting. Caleb Merritt, High Distinction Studio Art. Michaela Novak, High Distinction Mathematics and Computer Science. Brianna Obermeyer, Distinction Sociology, High Distinction Studio Art. Britton Rodenberg, Distinction Broadcasting. Austin Roulette, High Distinction Business Administration. Ryan Smolko, High Distinction History. Kimberly Sparts, High Distinction Biology and Spanish. Amy Still, High Distinction Sociology. Cassie Thunker, High Distinction Agribusiness. Amanda Tyra, High Distinction Psychology and Human Resource Management. Alex Utrup, High Distinction Recreation and Sport Management and Marketing. Brandon Utrup, High Distinction Recreation and Sport Management and Marketing. Peyton Van Winkle, High Distinction Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Savannah Walker, High Distinction Psychology and Sociology. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for all of our honors graduates. Norma Acevedo. Aaron Adams. Travis Agaga. Austin Allen. Eric Anderson, Distinction, Recreation and Sport Management and Marketing. Wesley Anderson. Miranda Ashoff. Michael Athey. Damian Austin. Taylor Banark. Brandon Barbosa. Leopoldo Barrientos Castillo. Ray Bars, in absentia. Heidi Barch. Jillianne Bax. Grace Belton. Morgan Beeman. Jennifer Bernard, Distinction Chemistry. Lane Burnstraw. Janelle Bethia. Lisa Blauvelt, High Distinction History and International Relations. Andrew Bogie, High Distinction Communication Studies. Joseph Brown, High Distinction Web Communication Design. Kervin Brown. Carissa Bruner. Khalil Buckman. Creighton Burr. Jeffrey Burke. Andrew Callahan. Tanner Campbell, in absentia. Levi Cermak, Distinction Marketing. Mariu Cerulli, Distinction Journalism and Broadcasting. Deanna Chavez Gutierrez. Nicole Chavez. Rebecca Christensen. Ryan Christensen Hinchy. Ronnie Cook. Zachary Cook. Catherine Korchari. Emery Costin. Christina Cox. Angela Kraus. Hannah Curry. Wyatt Davis. Harley DeShazer. Bailey Dexter. Erica Diaz. Gabriela DiDio, High Distinction Exercise Science. Roz Von Dobrin. Samantha Dominguez. Sydney Doyle. Amanda Dvorak. Sierra Eastman, in absentia. Stormy Ebersbacher. Jordan Ehlers. Jacqueline Elliott. Joshua England. Christopher Epp. Alex Fay, High Distinction Elementary Education, Distinction Special Education. Chandler Fielder. Emily Filsinger. Timothy Fisher. David Fitzgerald, Distinction Studio Art. Madison Fortunato, Distinction Recreation Sport Management. Robert Folks. Daniel Fragachan. William Fry. Alexander Gentry. Jacob Gigax. Derek Glass. Trevor Gleason. Ashley Goki. Hannah Goss. Mila Gray. William Grant. Lindsay Grice, in absentia, High Distinction Music. Amanda Gross, in absentia. Matthew Haney. David Hall. Grant Hall. Jacob Hansen, Distinction, Marketing. Lance Hansen. Kevin Harkins. Vicky Hartman. Tyler Headland. Tanner Henning. Jonathan Heredia. Victoria Hervé. Distinction Political Science. Nicholas Hines, Distinction Communication Studies. Lexi Hoffman, in absentia. Rebecca Holcomb, High Distinction Theater. Nicholas Holguin. Rashawn Holly, High Distinction Sociology. Caleb Holt, Distinction Exercise Science. Tyler Hopper, Distinction Social Science Education. Noah Hausch. Alana Hux, Distinction Sociology. Zachary Inman. Jody Jackson. Jessica Jacobson. Rachel Jeldon. Ryan Jenkins. In absentia. Rachel Jeske. Alicia Johnson. Jordan Johnson, Distinction Music. Mitchell Johnson. Samuel Johnson. Hayden Jones. Cassidy Jurens. Jodine Kamler. Lucas Kiefer. Cheyenne Knehans, High Distinction Studio Art and Theater. Bailey Naus. Victoria Korth. Grant Krause, Distinction Physical Education. Shaylee Kruger. Casey Lammers, Distinction Studio Art. Albert Landeros. Riley Levine. Derek Lehman. Alexis Leonard. Elizabeth Lewis, Distinction Elementary Education. Bailey Lewis Hopkins. Lauren Licking, in absentia. Tyler Lowry. Corey Luce. Lacey Lurs, Distinction Marketing. Dennis Marr, Distinction Molecular Biology. Justin Mackey. Brooke McLeod, Distinction Psychology and Sociology. Alexis Madison. Adam Manglitz, Distinction Wildlife Biology. Thomas Masters. Allison Matusik. Andrew Matsushima. Heath McClellan. Chase McIntyre, Distinction Exercise Science. Bryce McMullen. Catherine Medina. Ty Mercer. Joel Miranda Pena. Nathaniel Molman, in absentia. Hannah Moody, Distinction Psychology and Communication Studies. Jack Moore. Michaela Marino. Laura Moreno Brisno. Hannah Maureen. Taryn Mosby. Rachel Mulholland, Distinction Accounting and Communication Studies. Connor Musel. Tynan O'Brien. Ashlyn Okander. Eduardo Ochoa Luna. Rihanna Odom. Sarah Olson. Distinction Special Education. Danya Ontiveros. Alexander Panganiban. Zachary Parmenter. Ariel Pop. Tessa Pendergast. Christopher Perez. Zachary Peterson. Zachariah Peterson. Benjamin Petrie. Evan Pitt. Joe Prickett, High Distinction History and Sociology. Brian Puckett. Joseph Quinn. Rebecca Ralston. Nicole Raymakers, Distinction Accounting. Grace Remp. William Reynolds, Distinction Recreation and Sport Management. Katie Rice. Delaney Richardson. Michaela Richardson, Distinction Psychology. Jacob Ridpath. Russell Riley. Anthony Rippey. Alyssa Rock. Landon Rodabaugh. Sarah Rodabaugh. Amanda Romero. Claire Rush. William Ryan. Danielle Reinerson. Michael Sad, in absentia. Jordan Samuelson. Taylor Sando. August Schaefbauer. Haley Shockey. Distinction Health Systems. Benjamin Schief. Lance Schmidt, Distinction Recreation and Sport Management. Race Skirmans. Callie Schwenke. Melville Seagren. Garrett Schaefer. Nicholas Schaefer. Rashad Schamberger. Bryson Shea. Abby Shipman, Distinction Sociology. Mackenzie Schaffner, High Distinction Communication Studies. Daniel Shanka. Bethany Simones. Helen Smith, in absentia. Madeline Smith. Weston Spalding, Distinction Exercise Science. Sadie Steck. Bryce Stenger. Kylie Stevens. Tanner Stock. Colby Stortenbecker. Mary Swift. Nolan Sybrandt. Jacob Tarr. Joseph Talaki. Mark Touts, in absentia. Catherine Taylor, Distinction English. Nathaniel Tietzel. Rachel Thompson. Elizabeth Tidwell, High Distinction Biochemistry. Sarah Toney, Distinction Exercise Science. Bruno Trindade. Donald Trisdale. Trayston Trujillo. Aika Uchiyama Hughes. Asiero Undebetia Path. Michaela Vadaboncourt. Morgan Velasic. Jackson Van Skyver. Christopher Vaughn. Lucas Venegas. Alex Votek. Anna Weber. Nicholas Webster, in absentia. Dodge Weishar. Alexander Wellington. Emily Wesley, Distinction Sociology. Joseph White, in absentia. Richard Williams. Blake Wills, High Distinction Exercise Science. Cassandra Winter, in absentia. Jessica Zock. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our Bachelor of Arts. Now, will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Music please rise and proceed to the platform to receive your diplomas? Carly Cabrera, High Distinction Voice Performance. Nathan Jensen, High Distinction Voice Performance and Music Education. Andrew Kobeck, High Distinction Saxophone Performance. Julia Loy, Distinction Music Education. Melissa Reichert. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our Bachelor of Music. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Teaching please rise and proceed to the platform to receive your diplomas and to be hooded? I now call upon Professor Turner McGee, Faculty Marshal, to escort the graduate committee chairs, Dr. Cass Remp, Dr. Darcy Carr, Dr. Lisa Smith, Dr. Amy Morris, and Dr. Byron Jensen to the platform area to assist with the hooding of the master's degree recipients. Melissa Everson, in absentia. Dylan Flynn. Tyler Hinchy. Miles Kellett. Matthew Kissinger. Shane Clyer. Matthew Liberty. Logan Maycomber. Chelsea Morton is in absentia, Marshall Peterson is in absentia, and Marco Santana de Carvalho is in absentia as well. Renata Ziegelstein. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me one more time in congratulating the entire Hastings College class of 2018.
Before I begin my charge to the class, I'd like to thank some really important people, the parents in the audience today. Hey, that's right. Thank you for trusting us to educate the gifts that you've given to us, your young person. It's truly been a privilege for us to get to know them over these last few years. Would all the parents of the graduates please stand and be recognized? So my last words to the class of 2018. As we gather today, I am again struck by being in this moment of time of celebrating the past, what you've done, what you've learned, how you've become, while also looking to the future, what might be, how you'll continue to grow, how you will become. I love the Lord of the Rings. Gandalf says to Frodo in the Fellowship of the Rings, he says, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. That's your gift. It's the gift that's been given and what lies before you to unwrap as you will and how you will. So take time. Take time to give your personal gifts to others. Going from this Hastings College, there's no doubt that you have plentiful gifts to give. Be generous with those gifts. Be thoughtful. Be impactful. Change the world. Take time to nourish yourself. You are the best self, and time has this habit of withering us if we're not mindful of it. But be mindful. Eat well, sleep well, play well. Find your joys and nurture that time in the most careful and cultivating of ways. Take time to grow and become someone in ways you had not thought before. Experience new things. Sample something extraordinary. Always be in the process of becoming more than you ever thought was possible on this day and the next and the next. Take time to impact your world. You have a place. You have an opportunity to change this future. Shape it. Be part of it. Seize it. Knowing that you matter and that the world depends on you mattering. So go from Hastings College with our blessing and with our love. Let it be a home for these last few years, but let it continue to be so for the rest of your time. Graduating Bachelor of Music students, come on up, lead us in the singing of the Hastings College alma mater. Following that alma mater, the Reverend Greg Allen Pickett will give the benediction, and following the benediction, we ask that you all please be seated and remain seated until the graduates have processed. I turn it over to you.
Voices And I get to be the last person to offer congratulations to all of the graduates and your families. I think I am the only thing standing between you and your graduation celebrations that our speaker, Alex, invited you to. So I will strive to keep this blessing brief. Graduates, you have accomplished great things and heard some incredible speeches here today that encourage you to take your gifts and make a difference in the world. Make a difference in how you define success. Your education here at Hastings College has prepared you to do that. In theological language, that call to make a difference in the world is summarized in that double love command: to love God with all your heart, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Love God and love neighbor. That is my prayer for you. As you leave this place, may you feel the love of God and others on this day, and may you go into the world in gratitude and share that love with this world. I will close with a Franciscan blessing. This is a prayer that reminds us to find blessings in unusual places and reiterates our shared call to go out into the world and make it a better place. May God bless you with discomfort, at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep in your heart. May God bless you with anger, at injustice, oppression, and conflict, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, and violence, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring kindness, light, and love to this world. Amen.
Amen.